Please like, share, and subscribe. Hello all of my YouTube friends. And in this video we're talking about House of the Dragon Season 2 Episode 7. Which was just a great episode to watch. I really enjoyed it. So let's start off where I left off on the last review of Episode 6, where Seasmoke had a new rider. So Rhaenyra decides to leave on her dragon to go and meet up with the new rider of Seasmoke. And we have a beautiful scene here, both of them on the beach. And she introduces herself and she's like, I'm the queen. And she wants to know who this guy is and what his affiliation is. So he names himself Adam of Hall. And you can see that his dragon is actually quite protective. Like I mentioned in the other one, he was just staring up in the sky and seeing this dragon, and he always left the feeling that he was destined for something else. You could see that he had ambitions of bigger things in his life, and that this dragon actually decided to choose him as a rider, which leads to something that was really throughout this episode flushed out. So let's just cut to the chase here. There are bastards, and this dragon choose one bastard to become its rider. People that have no motivation to follow one leader or another, maybe just go after their own interests with the power of a dragon, which is a source of conflict potentially. We'll get to that a little bit later. But Adam here bends the knee to Rhaenyra and swears allegiance. And she is really happy to see that what was discussed in previous episodes, can we find other riders for these dragons? There are so many beautiful shots in this episode. So they both fly off back to Dragon Rock, and here they are trying to discuss what we can do with this situation. Are there other bastards out there that we could possibly go after? And these are not noblemen. So is it even wise to go down this path? So in last week's review, I didn't really touch on the subject of Daemon because he's still at this Grey Rock Castle. He's still having these visions. I don't know exactly if he's being manipulated by the witch or is he under some kind of spell? What is going on? And Daemon is responsible for certain events that are happening in and around trying to recruit an army. And Oscar Tully becomes supposedly the head, but he's very young. He's not sure everybody is gonna rally behind him. I really liked the scenes here because he is down talking to Daemon, making him feel like an atrocious person and making him pay for a lot of his bad decisions. So I don't know how the this army, how they will follow him and how loyal they will be to him, but they swore allegiance to the queen, so hopefully things work out here. There is this one scene in this episode where the king, he's been injured, and for some reason they're trying to get him to walk. I think it's a little bit early in his recovery, and I don't really know the motivation behind this. Hopefully it'll play out in future episodes. So now that Corlys knows that one of his sons, illegitimate sons, bastard sons, is a dragon rider, he goes and sees his other son, wondering, you know, what are your motivations? What are your goals? Do you plan on going to see Rhaenyra and maybe claiming a dragon of your own? And he's like, no, I'm a sailor and I will remain a sailor. At the end of last week's review, I also mentioned that there's a rumor of a bigger dragon out there. That piqued the curiosity of Lady Rhianna. Leaving the castle here, she does kind of go out on her own, trying to find more clues about this dragon. Definitely the show is pushing for another surprise. And strangely enough, I am rooting for her to get her own dragon. She did try in the past to get a dragon. It didn't work out. We didn't really see what happened. Like most people get burned alive by the dragon rejecting them. So how is she alive? We don't exactly know. We haven't seen this in this season. but I'm looking forward to her encounter with this big dragon. This episode flushes out a lot of the bastard and their dragons in this situation, and Jacaerys comes to his mother and is like, okay, I know I was part of this idea, but we were still trying to find like certain noble people to ride these dragons, and she's just going out and recruiting as many bastards now as possible. And he knows that he is one himself. Like when she passes away, she already told him that the throne will go to him. Everybody knows he's a bastard, but he had the argument that I'm a dragon rider. The problem is that making these other bastard riders makes it that eventually pretty much anybody can advocate to the throne. So this is not a perfect situation. They are stuck in a war. They need to do what they can to win it, but they also see that the decisions they are taking now will have real consequences later on. And he's really not happy about this. So throughout the season, we've had these little scenes here and there where we are seeing these characters, and I mean, the scenes are pretty brief, and we don't really know what these characters are bringing to the story. While in this episode, it kind of links in all into this plot. Many characters here and there that we saw throughout. He was trying to save his daughter. We learn in this episode that his daughter did not make it out, and he feels like his next step is to go and see Rihanna and maybe claim a dragon of his own. So a lot of these bastards are answering the call to come to Dragonstone and try to claim dragon, which is a really weird scene because the queen is trying to give her speech here like you can be part of events that will lead to the end of this war and try to save as many people and try to end the famine and all that that's going on. On the other hand, each and every one of these individuals are putting their lives on the line. Like she is telling them that you may not survive this. And she proceeds to call out the dragon. Like I said, the dragon details, they are just so beautiful. The shots are immersive. I was so into this episode. I mean, I lack the words to describe it. I mean, the visuals are just stunning, but it even goes a little bit a step further. Like every dragon in the show has a different voice, a different sound. The soundtrack for each one of these dragons is really, really well done. You can definitely see where the money is going in this show. So, yeah, all of these bastards are here. In one way, I was like, you know what, this is not going to end well. And even though people are complaining right, left, and center that we can't let these bastards ride dragons, well, guess what, folks? The dragon is just gonna wipe out a bunch of these bastards, anyways. And honestly, it doesn't take too long to get to it either. So, this guy, Yu, who was trying to save his daughter, and unfortunately, like I said previously, she did not make it, he actually tries to sacrifice himself to protect another woman who runs off. But then they go into this stare down, and he is showing that, you know what, he's got a pair and he is showing it. And I think the dragon kind of recognized this. They are going to form a bond. Keep in mind that like I said, I'm a normie. I haven't read the books, but apparently some of my viewers have been telling me this dragon is actually his grandfather's dragon. For all the lore lovers out there, I guess this is just good candy for them as well. And now we come to a scene that I was not expecting at all. We know that we were trying to find a rider for one dragon, but there's another dragon down there, and one of the fleeing bastards comes across this dragon, a beautiful dragon. And here it's the complete opposite of that other scene. This guy was trying to run away. He is scared out of his mind, and he's like, oh man, I am so dead here. And strangely enough, this dragon chooses him. which leads to really a funny moment where he's actually riding the dragon. He does not know what he's doing, and they are flying over King's Landing, which obviously grabs the attention of Aemon. And obviously, Aemon's not going to take this sitting down. He rides out immediately to go and pick up Vhagar, which is not too far away. So Vhagar and Aemon are just chasing down this other dragon. They are heading towards Dragon Rock, and he's like, oh man, oh man. And both of them can see what's ahead. This is not just one dragon. And Aemon's like, no, Vhagar, turn around, flee. This is not a good situation. Like, this is getting serious now. The balance of power has actually changed, which is setting up for next week's episode. And in case you did not know, it's the season finale. I really enjoyed this show. I really enjoyed the visuals, all these different dragons, all the different voices for these dragons. I'm hoping that next week's episode has a really good fight scene, but who knows, folks. Have you seen this episode? Let me know what you think of it, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. But that is just my opinion. Let me know yours in the comments down below. If you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe. If you didn't like it, thank you so much for listening this long. Hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Until then, check these out.